Here's something that might shock you. Millions of dollars worth of art sits hidden in museum storage rooms, never to be seen by the public who funded it. Right now, there's a fascinating exhibition at the Denver Art Museum that's pulling back the curtain on this little-known reality. What We've Been Up To Landscape isn't your typical blockbuster show, but that's exactly what makes it so intriguing. When you think about art museum curators, you probably picture them gracefully walking through galleries, pointing out masterpieces to admiring crowds. But here's where it gets controversial. Curators actually spend most of their time as high-stakes shoppers, making purchasing decisions that most of us never hear about. These cultural gatekeepers juggle two primary responsibilities that often pull them in different directions. First, they hunt for new acquisitions, sometimes tracking down centuries-old European paintings to fill gaps in their collections, other times investing in contemporary works from living artists who are defining today's artistic landscape. Think of them as time-traveling art detectives, piecing together cultural narratives across different eras. Their second role involves transforming these collected treasures into public experiences. They craft exhibitions around compelling themes, hoping to draw visitors through the doors while simultaneously educating them about art history. It's part entertainment, part education, and entirely dependent on their ability to tell stories that resonate with diverse audiences. But here's the part most people miss. While exhibition announcements generate buzz and draw crowds, the public remains completely unaware of what their local museums are actually purchasing with their tax dollars. The harsh reality? Most newly acquired artworks disappear into climate-controlled storage facilities, joining the 95 to 97% of museum collections that never see daylight again. Museums simply don't have enough wall space to display more than a tiny fraction of their holdings at any given time. This makes the Denver Art Museum's current landscape photography exhibition particularly noteworthy and, frankly, a little rebellious. Tucked away on the 6th floor of the Martin Building, this modest show occupies just a handful of rooms filled with relatively small works and series pieces. You could easily walk right past it while heading to the museum's more prominent attractions. Yet this unassuming exhibition represents something groundbreaking. It showcases works the museum has quietly acquired over the past 17 years, but never displayed publicly. The photography department, established in 2008, orchestrated this reveal of their hidden acquisitions. And this is where things get interesting and potentially divisive. The photography department isn't the museum's most prestigious division. It's still relatively young, still finding its identity, still proving its worth with limited resources. Some might argue it's the scrappy underdog fighting for recognition in a world dominated by classical paintings and sculptures. But the curators have been strategic, working tirelessly to build a collection that's both distinctive and meaningful. This exhibition serves as concrete evidence of their vision and taste, essentially answering the question, what does a museum-worthy photograph look like in 2025? The show reveals fascinating tensions in contemporary museum collecting. You'll find traditional landscape photography that echoes the legendary work of masters like Ansel Adams, though sweeping. Dramatic captures of nature's grandeur that defined an entire era of American photography. Some pieces transport you to earlier times entirely. Marion Post Wolcott's descriptively titled Drift Fence and Farmlands from Sugar Hill near Franconia, New Hampshire from 1940 freezes a moment in rural American history with both technical precision and artistic sensitivity. Even more historically significant is William Henry Jackson's Milburn, Utah from 1891. A window into the American West during its transformation period. But here's where contemporary museum collecting gets controversial. Alongside these traditional works, you'll encounter pieces that completely reimagine what landscape photography can be. Take Abelardo Morell's commissioned 2023 piece, View of Mount Sopris, Snowmass, Colorado. Morell developed an innovative tent camera system that updates centuries-old camera obscura techniques for our modern era. It's experimental, it's expensive, and it represents exactly the kind of risk-taking that some taxpayers might question. The exhibition also embraces documentary photography that confronts uncomfortable truths about human impact on pristine landscapes. Steve Fitch's Between Trujillo and Las Vegas, New Mexico, September 9, 2006, exemplifies this approach. His image captures a radio tower piercing the desert landscape, its red warning lights creating an almost romantic glow against the sunset sky. It's simultaneously beautiful and melancholic, a perfect metaphor for humanity's complex relationship with nature. But this is where the exhibition becomes truly provocative. It doesn't shy away from photography as social commentary, using landscape as a vehicle to examine America's darkest chapters. Some works document natural disasters and climate change impacts, like John Gannis's powerful 2013 image, Beach Houses After Hurricane Sandy, 959 East Avenue, Mantolicon, New Jersey, from his series America's Endangered Coasts. These photographs force viewers to confront environmental realities that many would prefer to ignore. Other pieces tackle even more sensitive historical terrain. Cristina Fernandez's 2023 Hideo, Heart Mountain, from her series View from Here, exemplifies this approach. Shot through the wooden window of a building at the Heart Mountain concentration camp near Cody, Wyoming. The photograph provides a haunting perspective from where thousands of Japanese Americans were unjustly imprisoned during World War II. Here's where the real controversy lies. There's an intense cultural debate happening right now about museums' responsibility in presenting American history. Should these institutions celebrate our nation's beauty and achievements, or should they prioritize exposing historical injustices and contemporary problems? Both approaches have passionate supporters and vocal critics. This exhibition, spanning works from multiple decades, attempts to navigate this minefield by doing both. Visitors experience raw, natural beauty alongside stark reminders of human trauma and environmental destruction. Some will appreciate this balanced approach. Others will argue it dilutes the impact of both messages. The show accomplishes something significant, regardless of where you stand on this debate. It provides unprecedented transparency about how one major American museum has been spending public funds and making cultural decisions over nearly 2 decades. It reveals the evolving definition of what constitutes museum-quality art in our current moment. Museum collecting reflects the personal and social politics of the people making acquisition decisions. These choices evolve constantly as cultural values shift and new voices demand representation. Sometimes this evolution happens gradually. Other times it sparks full-blown culture wars that divide communities. Institutions like the Denver Art Museum must navigate this shifting cultural landscape while staying relevant to contemporary audiences. This modest exhibition demonstrates how one institution in Middle America has attempted to balance competing demands and expectations. The photography department's choices reveal fascinating insights about current museum priorities. Environmental consciousness, historical reckoning, technological innovation, and social justice all factor into their acquisition strategy. Whether you agree with these priorities or not, they reflect broader conversations happening in museums nationwide. What We've Been Up To, Landscape, continues through December 7th at the Denver Art Museum, located at 100 W 14th Ave. For more information, call 720-865-5000 or visit denverartmuseum.org. So here's my question for you. Should museums prioritize acquiring beautiful art that provides escape and inspiration? Or should they focus on challenging works that confront difficult truths and spark uncomfortable conversations? And more importantly, who should get to make these decisions that affect how we understand our culture and history? Share your thoughts, because this debate is far from over.